Hello once again, everyone. Original Blood Ice back again. Surprise! It's a sixth video. I know it's crazy. And this video, oh, I've been meaning to do this video for months now. But you know me, I get around to it when I get around to it. So sorry for taking forever to get around to this, but hell, it took me fucking 3 months longer than I had planned to do my Smash Bros. Wii U review video, because remember, I wanted to get that up by like December 23rd, right before Christmas, and it was like 3 months later I finally got around to doing it. So, better late than never is the way to say it, or is the way to go, I should say. And I still have to do my review on Bayonetta 2, now that I think about it, but maybe in another few months, or honestly, maybe by next weekend. We'll see. No promises, but we'll see. And then there's one other game I still have to do a review on, which I'm not going to say which yet, so don't even ask. But it probably won't be, well, it could be months, or it could be sometime in the nearest future I'll do it. Anyway, time for me to review, of course, Kirby and the Rainbow Curse for the Wii U. And as usual, I'm going to do it as I always do, with the pros and the cons. So right off the bat, let's just start with the pros. Very colorful, very fun, and for the most part, a very relaxing game to play, unless you're going for 100% completion, like I was, in which case, as I'll get into later, not as much of a smooth ride, but still very colorful, very fun, and a very relaxing game in general. Next pro is, I love the art style. I mean, how can you not like it? When you first see it, you're like, you know, nice. It's something new. I mean, you could say it's kind of like Kirby's Epic Yarn or whatever, but, well, not even really. That's more of Yoshi's Woolly World. I don't know what I'm babbling on about. Let's just skip that. I like the art style. I like the clay design. It works. Simple as that. Although I wouldn't want, like, Nintendo to try this art style with something like Zelda. Can you imagine, like, clay Zelda? That would be kind of weird. Other than clay pots, that wouldn't really work. Anyway, stage design is the next pro. Stage design was good. Each level was different, which is what I like to see in games, because if you're playing, you know, if you're going to make multiple levels and they're all like, oh, they're pretty similar, you just added a little bit different here, oh, there's a different path over here, it's going to get boring really, really fast. Like Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, there's a good example. Each level was different, and it was a solid fucking game. And speaking of Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, which is something next pro is something I really highly rated in that game, was the soundtrack. Now, granted, this is not David Wise, of course, and this is nowhere near as good as Tropical Freeze's soundtrack, but the soundtrack was really nice in Kirby and the Rainbow Curse. Plus, having songs be unlocked from past Kirby games was a nice touch. So, you know, it was a catchy soundtrack. It was, you know, playful and, you know, just a relaxing, there I go, using the word relaxing again, relaxing time, listening to just the music, and just kind of getting lost. So that was nice. Collectibles. Most people like collecting things in games, especially like if you like Banjo-Kazooie, which was considered a collectathon game, which it really was. But either way, we're not talking Banjo, we're talking Kirby. So the collectibles really adds a nice extra layer to the game. Some were challenging, but most weren't too bad. Getting all the figurines was a fun thing to do, you know? So I'm always up for little collectibles in Nintendo games. And really, I can't even speak unless you're talking Xbox and Sony, where their idea of collectibles is just achievements. So, whatever. Challenges. While they were nice for adding more play value to the game, they did get insanely hard later on. Power-ups and transformations, or slash transformations, while not the typical style for Kirby, where, you know, you'd eat enemies and get power-ups, I did enjoy the Kirby tank, the Kirby submarine, and the Kirby rocket in this game. So, they all played differently, they all had their strengths and weaknesses, but, you know, for the most part, I liked them. So, and the last thing for pros is the story. While it wasn't a super detailed story, which I don't know why you would have expected from a Kirby game, it's not like it's Fire Emblem or something, while it wasn't a super detailed story, it was a nice story, nonetheless. And the secret diary pages that you could get added a little bit more to that, so that's definitely a plus for me. Now, of course, comes the cons to talk about. Not a whole lot. I really only have 3 cons with the game. First of all is the controls. The game reminds me of an iPad game, and I don't mean anyone in particular, I just mean, you see this game in the gameplay and you think, oh, I can see this playing on an iPad because you use your finger. But yeah, for the controls, that was a con. Sometimes Kirby wouldn't work properly and he wouldn't go the right way. If you've seen my series on OBA games, you would know me always going like, Kirby, go the right fucking way, and stuff like that. It would cause me to get upset from time to time again, or from time and time again. So that was a small issue I have. I wouldn't say that's like a game-breaking issue, but it's just kind of something that over the course of the game does get a bit annoying from time to time. The next con is the bosses. Now let me explain. The bosses themselves weren't bad, but just the fact that there was only 3 bosses in the game, and they were reused again, at least I think there was 3, and then they used them again a second time for different worlds, it was lame and an incredibly lazy way to go about the bosses in the game, which was just disappointing. That's the best word to describe that, disappointing. Each world should have had its own bosses. And again, here I go bring up Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, or even Mario. They all have their own bosses at the end of the world. Why they didn't do it here, I don't know. And especially, I was really expecting, and I was really shocked that they didn't bring the Cloud boss back. I forget his actual name. I'm not a huge Kirby expert. I'm a Kirby fan. Not a major fan, but I'm a Kirby fan, and I know some stuff. But the Cloud boss in Kirby games, it's usually there. He wasn't here. I was expecting him to be, but oh well. He was in Triple Deluxe, though. Kirby Triple Deluxe on the 3DS. Anyway, the last con that I wanted to go over in this video is, of course, the challenges. Now, I know what you're thinking. I already said this was a pro already, so what's going on? True, I did say that. However, the part I didn't like about the challenges was the last 6 or 7 challenges, since you could only unlock them by beating each world's boss without taking a single hit of damage. Now, I got 3 or 4 of them unlocked without too much effort and too much of a hassle, but the last 3 were so rage-inducing, I felt my sanity slipping away, unlike any other game I have ever played in my life. And if you saw my rage in those videos, you'll know what I'm talking about, and that game pretty much broke me mentally. It tore me apart mentally, and I was going to rip my own hair out. Hell, Bloodborne had never given me that level of rage, and Bloodborne is a mature, hardcore, super tough, rage-inducing game, and Kirby's, you know, oh, it's a kiddie Nintendo game. So that just goes to show you that Kirby and the Rainbow Curse isn't so easy, especially if you want to 100% it. The main levels, if you just want to zip through them without getting 100%, they're not really that big of an issue. But if you're going for 100%, there's going to be parts that drive you absolutely batshit crazy. So anyway, I guess it's time for my overall summary wrapping up thing. I would have to say that Kirby and the Rainbow Curse is a Wii U game that I would recommend recommend that you get if there is a game drought for the Wii U, say for, 2 months or so, and you want a Wii U game to play, then it's something I would recommend. It's not something I would say is a must-have title for the Wii U, but it is one of those games that you should probably have in your Wii U library at some point throughout the Wii U's life. Whether it eventually goes down to $30 or $20, then you pick it up for sure. I mean, it's only $40, which is nice enough, unlike, major Wii U games, but it's something that should be in your Wii U library. It's just not a day one buy, I would say. Even though I ended up getting it day one buy, but I mean, from time to time, I'm a fucking hypocrite. Look what I said with the new 3DS. I was never going to get one, and then I did. So anyway, so time for the game's score, which is very simple for me. I give Kirby and the Rainbow Curse a solid 7 out of 10. Yes, I know in my rage in one episode of it, I said I would give it like a 1 out of 10 or something. I forget, a 1 out of 10 or 4 out of 10 or something. But my honest score is a 7 out of 10. It's a good game, but does it match up to, say, Mario Kart 8, or Smash Bros. Wii U, or Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, Wind Waker HD, or even Captain Toad? No, it doesn't. But it's definitely a good game. Just not a great game. So, anyway, I guess that'll do it for my Kirby and the Rainbow Curse review video. Thanks for watching, and as always, I'm Original Blood Ace. Come back for more videos. As always, stay tuned for them, and no idea what the next video will be. Probably the Nintendo E3 predictions video coming sometime this week. I mean, I'd love to get it done tomorrow night, but I know I'm not going to promise that, because every time I promise stuff like that, it just never happens. Either way, as always, see you in the next video.